On June 6, 1944, the course of World War II changed forever. The Longest Day, 1962, brings the epic D-Day invasion to life with unprecedented historical accuracy, a massive international cast, and large-scale battle sequences that influenced war films for generations. But did Hollywood get it right? From the controversy surrounding John Wayne's casting to the film's groundbreaking production, we dive deep into the making of this cinematic masterpiece. Was The Longest Day the most accurate war film ever made? Let's find out. Released in 1962, The Longest Day is widely regarded as one of the greatest and most ambitious war films ever made, bringing to life the historic D-Day invasion of June 6, 1944, a turning point in World War II. Based on Cornelius Ryan's best-selling book, the film provides a meticulously detailed and multi-perspective account of the battle, offering a rare and comprehensive portrayal of both the Allied and German sides of the conflict. Unlike many war films of its era, which often romanticized battle or focused solely on one nation's perspective, The Longest Day sought to deliver a historically accurate and large-scale depiction of the invasion, ensuring that viewers could experience the battle from the ground level of soldiers, commanders, and resistance fighters alike. One of the film's most distinctive aspects was its unique directorial approach. Instead of being helmed by a single filmmaker, The Longest Day was co-directed by 3 directors: Andrew Martin, Ken Anakin, and Bernard Wicki, each responsible for capturing a specific national perspective of the battle. Andrew Martin directed the American sequences, depicting the chaos and brutality of the U.S. landings, particularly at Omaha and Utah beaches. Ken Anakin handled the British and French resistance segments, emphasizing the coordinated efforts of Allied forces beyond just the American troops. Meanwhile, Bernard Wicki, a German director, was uniquely positioned to bring a more authentic German viewpoint, portraying the miscommunication and tactical struggles within the German ranks as they tried to respond to the invasion. This multi-director approach gave the film an incredibly rich, multi-dimensional narrative, ensuring that it didn't feel like a one-sided retelling, but rather a balanced and detailed historical reconstruction of the day that changed the course of the war. Beyond its innovative storytelling, The Longest Day featured one of the most star-studded casts in Hollywood history, consisting of major American, British, French, and German actors. John Wayne took on the role of Lieutenant Colonel Benjamin Vandervoort, leading U.S. paratroopers in one of the battle's most dangerous airborne operations. Henry Fonda portrayed Brigadier General Theodore Roosevelt Jr., capturing the legendary general's heroic leadership at Utah Beach. Robert Mitchum played Brigadier General Norman Cota, commanding U.S. forces at Omaha Beach, while Richard Burton portrayed RAF Flight Officer David Campbell, offering the British perspective in the skies above Normandy. Sean Connery, still in the early years of his career before becoming James Bond, also appeared as Private Flanagan, representing the common soldier's experience. This international casting allowed each nationality involved in D-Day to be represented by native actors, making the film more authentic than many of its contemporaries. Additionally, unlike many Hollywood war films, The Longest Day ensured that the characters spoke in their native languages, with English, French, and German dialogue used throughout the film, rather than having German and French characters speaking English for convenience. This attention to linguistic accuracy added another layer of realism and immersion for audiences. What truly set The Longest Day apart from previous war films was its extraordinary attention to historical accuracy. The filmmakers went to great lengths to replicate real-life events as closely as possible, incorporating authentic World War II military equipment, including actual tanks, planes, and warships used in the invasion. Rather than relying on staged explosions or scaled-down battle sequences, the film used real explosives and practical effects, ensuring that every battle sequence felt as authentic and chaotic as possible. D-Day veterans were even brought in as consultants, ensuring that every military maneuver, battle tactic, and uniform detail was historically accurate. Many of the film's battle scenes were modeled after real D-Day combat footage, while soldier testimonies were used to shape key moments of the narrative. One of the most gripping examples of this attention to realism is the depiction of the Omaha Beach landing, shown from the perspective of Robert Mitchum's character, General Cota. The scene captures the overwhelming chaos, fear, and determination of the soldiers as they struggle to move forward under relentless enemy fire, with bullets hitting the water, bodies falling, and explosions ripping through the sand. This kind of immersive realism was groundbreaking for its time and influenced later war films, including Saving Private Ryan, 1998, which would go even further in its graphic depiction of battle. Despite The Longest Day's commitment to historical accuracy, one of the most debated aspects of the film was the casting of John Wayne as Lieutenant Colonel Benjamin Vandervoort, a key paratrooper commander in the 82nd Airborne Division. Wayne's portrayal became controversial primarily due to a significant age discrepancy between the actor and the real-life military officer he was portraying, raising questions about whether the film had sacrificed historical accuracy for star power. At the time of the D-Day invasion, Benjamin Vandervoort was just 27 years old, a young, highly trained, and physically capable leader, tasked with leading paratroopers in one of the most grueling and dangerous airborne operations of the war. He was known for his strength, endurance, and tactical brilliance, having trained intensively for the physical and strategic demands of airborne combat. Vandervoort parachuted into Normandy while carrying a heavy load of equipment, sustaining injuries upon landing, yet continuing to lead his troops with unwavering determination. In stark contrast, John Wayne was 54 years old when The Longest Day was filmed, more than twice Vandervoort's age, with a noticeably larger, heavier build that made him appear far removed from the youthful, agile figure that history had recorded. The contrast between the real-life Vandervoort and Wayne's portrayal made it difficult for some audiences to fully suspend disbelief. While Vandervoort had been a young, lean, and highly mobile officer, Wayne's movements were slower and more labored, making it hard to envision him as a paratrooper who had just survived a high-impact night jump behind enemy lines. The real Benjamin Vandervoort himself was reportedly unhappy with the casting choice, feeling that Wayne's age and physical condition did not accurately represent the young men who had fought in the airborne divisions. For Vandervoort and many other veterans, this wasn't just a minor inaccuracy. It was a fundamental misrepresentation of what paratroopers endured. The airborne units that spearheaded the invasion had been composed of highly conditioned young soldiers, many of whom were barely in their 20s. Their success depended on their speed, agility, and endurance, qualities that Wayne at his age could not convincingly portray on screen. Wayne's casting sparked a divided reaction among audiences and critics. On one hand, many loyal fans of Wayne praised his commanding presence, deep voice, and undeniable screen charisma, arguing that while he did not resemble Vandervoort physically, he embodied the spirit of a strong military leader. His reputation as the ultimate on-screen war hero made him a natural choice for the role in the eyes of his supporters. They believed that his on-screen authority and larger-than-life persona helped reinforce the confidence and leadership qualities necessary for such a crucial figure in battle. However, on the other hand, Many historians, critics, and war veterans felt that his casting undermined the realism of the film, which otherwise went to great lengths to maintain historical accuracy. Seeing a visibly older, slower-moving Wayne in a role that required the energy, stamina, and mobility of a real-life paratrooper was jarring for some audiences, especially in a film that prided itself on authenticity. The contrast was particularly striking when compared to the actors who had real military backgrounds, such as Henry Fonda, Richard Burton, and Sean Connery, all of whom brought a sense of realism and lived experience to their roles. This controversy was further amplified by Wayne's personal history with World War II, which had long been a subject of debate. Unlike many of his contemporaries in Hollywood, such as Henry Fonda, James Stewart, and Clark Gable, who actively served in the military, Wayne never enlisted. While other actors temporarily left their careers behind to fight, Wayne remained in Hollywood, starring in wartime propaganda films that helped shape his larger-than-life patriotic image. Some historians argue that he actively avoided military service, using his rising fame and influence to obtain draft deferments. While there were personal and professional reasons behind his decision, it nevertheless created resentment among some veterans who felt that Wayne had built his patriotic reputation by playing war heroes on screen rather than in real life. His casting as a real D-Day hero in The Longest Day was therefore seen by some as ironic or even inappropriate. While Wayne had become one of the most recognizable symbols of American war films, the fact that he had never actually served in combat led to criticism from those who believed that actors with real military experience should have been given the role instead. This debate was particularly notable given that many of the actors in the film had actually served in World War II, bringing genuine military experience to their performances. Despite the backlash, there was no denying that John Wayne's name brought immense star power to The Longest Day, helping to attract audiences who might not have otherwise been interested in a historically detailed, ensemble-driven war epic. His presence alone helped elevate the film's commercial appeal, drawing in viewers who associated Wayne with rugged patriotism and heroic leadership. Some argue that his casting was a necessary trade-off. Even if he was miscast from a historical standpoint, his involvement helped bring attention to the real-life sacrifices of D-Day and contributed to the film's financial success. While John Wayne's casting as Lieutenant Colonel Benjamin Vandervoort sparked controversy due to his age and lack of military service, The Longest Day also featured several actors who had real-life military experience, bringing an added layer of authenticity to the film. These actors didn't just portray soldiers, they had once worn the uniform themselves, making their performances even more believable. One of the most respected veterans in the cast was Henry Fonda, who played Brigadier General Theodore Roosevelt Jr. Unlike Wayne, Fonda had actually served in World War II, enlisting in the U.S. Navy despite already being a well-established movie star. He served as a quartermaster on a destroyer and later as an intelligence officer in the Pacific, earning a Bronze Star Medal for his service. Fonda's understanding of military leadership helped him portray Roosevelt Jr., who famously led his men ashore at Utah Beach despite being in poor health and requiring a cane to walk. Another actor with real wartime experience was Richard Burton, who played Flight Officer David Campbell, a Royal Air Force pilot. Burton had served in the Royal Air Force during World War II, though he never saw active combat. His military training and first-hand experience with the war added depth to his portrayal of a battle-hardened British officer. Burton's performance carried an air of stoicism and world-weariness, traits that reflected the real-life struggles of RAF pilots who had endured years of brutal aerial combat. Sean Connery, who portrayed Private Flanagan, also had a military background. Before he became James Bond, Connery served in the Royal Navy. Although his time in the service was cut short due to medical reasons, his military experience still gave him an understanding of discipline, hierarchy, and the reality of serving in uniform, elements that translated into his performance. Another actor with military service was Robert Wagner, who played Private Morris. Though his time in uniform was brief, Wagner served in the U.S. Marine Corps Reserve before launching his acting career. His role in The Longest Day may have been small, but his real-life experience as a Marine added credibility to his portrayal of an American soldier in the invasion. The presence of these actors, who had actually worn military uniforms in real life, helped ground the film in authenticity. While Wayne's casting may have felt like a Hollywood decision, actors like Fonda, Burton, Connery, and Wagner brought a genuine understanding of military life to their roles. Their experiences shaped the way they carried themselves, how they spoke, and how they reacted to the chaos of battle. For veterans watching the film, these performances likely felt more accurate and relatable as they were informed by personal experiences rather than just script direction. While The Longest Day was widely praised for its historical accuracy and its inclusion of actors with real military experience, one of the film's most defining features was its massive production scale. It was one of the most ambitious war films ever attempted, requiring extensive international collaboration, real military equipment, and large-scale battle sequences that pushed the limits of filmmaking at the time. Unlike many other Hollywood war films that relied heavily on studio recreations, The Longest Day sought to capture the true scope of D-Day through unprecedented levels of realism. One of the most remarkable aspects of the film was its global collaboration. The production was financed and distributed by 3 major studios, including 20th Century Fox, with additional support from European production companies. This was essential for creating a film that wasn't just a Hollywood war movie, but a multi-perspective historical retelling. The casting itself reflected this global approach, as The Longest Day included actors from multiple countries, ensuring that the perspectives of the Americans, British, French, and Germans were portrayed authentically. This was a bold choice for the time, as most war films, particularly those from Hollywood, tended to focus on a single nation's viewpoint. The producers understood that D-Day was not just an American operation, but a coordinated Allied effort, and the film's diverse cast helped emphasize this. At the time of its production, The Longest Day was one of the most expensive films ever made, with a budget exceeding $10 million, a staggering amount for the early 1960s. For comparison, many films at the time had budgets well below $5 million, making The Longest Day a massive financial undertaking. The cost was driven by the filmmakers' commitment to realism, as they sought to recreate one of the most complex military operations in history with accuracy. Instead of using miniature models or studio-created battle sequences, the film relied on practical effects and real explosions to make the action feel immersive and intense. Unlike later war films that could rely on computer-generated imagery, CGI, The Longest Day used real World War II military equipment, including authentic ships, planes, and tanks, many of which had actually been used during the war. The producers also went to great lengths to film on location in Normandy, France, further adding to the film's authenticity. Several key battle sequences were shot at or near the actual sites where they had taken place in 1944, giving audiences a true sense of scale and geography. Beyond its commitment to realism in visual presentation, the production team also consulted D-Day veterans, many of whom had been directly involved in the invasion. These veterans acted as military advisors, ensuring that details such as troop movements, battlefield strategy, and weapon handling were as close to reality as possible. Their firsthand experience helped shape some of the film's most intense moments, particularly the chaotic landings at Omaha Beach and Utah Beach. Their involvement also meant that the film didn't just depict D-Day as a heroic victory, but also as a brutal and costly battle filled with moments of confusion, fear, and overwhelming odds. The final result was a remarkably authentic war epic, capturing both the sheer scale and emotional weight of D-Day in a way that had never been done before. While certain casting choices, such as John Wayne portraying a much younger military officer, sparked debate, there was no denying that The Longest Day set a new standard for war films. Its influence can be seen in later classics such as Saving Private Ryan and Band of Brothers, which similarly emphasized historical accuracy, large-scale battle sequences, and multiple perspectives. When The Longest Day was released, it was met with widespread critical acclaim, praised for its realism, historical accuracy, and ambitious scale. At a time when many war films focus primarily on heroism, patriotic sentiment, and Hollywood dramatization, The Longest Day took a different approach. It sought to recreate the scale and complexity of D-Day with meticulous attention to detail, incorporating perspectives from multiple nations, authentic military equipment, and large-scale battle sequences filmed in real locations. Its commitment to historical accuracy, from the use of multilingual dialogue to the casting of actors who had served in World War II, set it apart as one of the most significant and respected war films ever made. One of the film's most groundbreaking elements was its multi-perspective storytelling. Unlike many war films that solely focused on the heroics of one nation, The Longest Day presented the invasion from several viewpoints, including the American, British, French, and German forces. This decision gave the film an unbiased and comprehensive portrayal of D-Day, showing not just the bravery of the Allied troops, but also the desperation and confusion among the German defenders. The inclusion of the French resistance and their role in disrupting German operations added another layer of depth, reminding audiences that the war was fought not just on the beaches, but also behind enemy lines. Critics praised this realistic, multi-narrative approach, which provided a fuller understanding of the Normandy invasion. The film's lack of excessive dramatization made it stand out from other war movies, allowing the story to unfold naturally, as a documentary-style retelling of historical events rather than a heavily fictionalized Hollywood spectacle. This emphasis on historical authenticity and realism was widely recognized as one of the film's greatest strengths. Beyond storytelling, the film's massive production scale was another reason for its overwhelming success. The Longest Day was produced by 3 major studios, including 20th Century Fox, with an unprecedented international collaboration. It featured actors from multiple countries, ensuring that each side of the war was portrayed by native speakers in their respective languages, a rare and innovative choice for the time. The film's large ensemble cast included some of the biggest names in Hollywood and international cinema, such as John Wayne, Henry Fonda, Richard Burton, Robert Mitchum, and Sean Connery, which helped draw audiences from all over the world. The sheer scale of the production was unparalleled. With a budget exceeding $10 million, it was one of the most expensive films ever made at the time. Unlike many other war films that relied on sound stages or scaled-down sets, The Longest Day filmed on location in Normandy, using real battle sites to recreate the invasion with remarkable authenticity. Real World War II military equipment, including tanks, ships, and aircraft, was used in the battle sequences. The filmmakers also recreated the landings using live explosives instead of visual effects, adding to the raw intensity and immersive nature of the battle scenes. The film's commitment to realism extended beyond the set. The production team enlisted D-Day veterans as military advisors, ensuring that battle tactics, uniforms, weapons, and soldier behavior were depicted with historical accuracy. These veterans provided first-hand accounts of their experiences, helping shape how key events were choreographed and portrayed on screen. The involvement of those who had actually fought in the invasion gave The Longest Day an unmatched level of credibility, making it feel less like a Hollywood war movie and more like a historical reenactment of the real battle. This dedication to accuracy and scale paid off tremendously at the box office. Despite its massive budget, The Longest Day became one of the highest-grossing films of 1962, proving that audiences were drawn to its epic scope and historical depth. Viewers, especially those who had lived through World War II, appreciated the film's respectful and detailed depiction of the Normandy invasion. It wasn't just entertainment. It was a cinematic tribute to the soldiers who fought and died on June 6, 1944. The film's success was also recognized by the Academy Awards, receiving multiple nominations, including Best Picture and Best Director. It went on to win 2 Oscars, Best Cinematography and Best Special Effects, acknowledging its technical excellence and groundbreaking visual storytelling. More than 6 decades after its release, The Longest Day remains one of the greatest war films ever made, setting a high standard for historical accuracy, large-scale production, and multi-perspective storytelling. Few films have captured the complexity, chaos, and significance of D-Day with such meticulous detail, and its commitment to authenticity continues to earn praise from audiences and historians alike. With an ensemble cast of legendary actors, the film managed to bring history to life, ensuring that future generations could better understand the magnitude of the Normandy invasion. While The Longest Day was widely celebrated, John Wayne's casting as Lieutenant Colonel Benjamin Vandervoort sparked debate. His age and physical appearance were noticeably different from the real-life officer he portrayed, leading to criticism from veterans, historians, and even Vandervoort himself. However, despite this controversy, Wayne's presence undoubtedly helped bring mainstream attention to the film. His commanding screen presence made him one of the most memorable figures in the movie, and for many fans, his portrayal remains iconic. But was he the right choice? Could another actor have done a better job in the role? What do you think? Was John Wayne too old for the role of Vandervoort, or did his performance make up for the physical inaccuracy? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into history and cinema.